Dr. Alina Rodriguez pressed her palm against the cold glass of the observation chamber, watching the figure inside with a mixture of pride and growing dread. Subject 7, whom she had named Jackson Cross, lay unconscious on the medical bed, his chest rising and falling with mechanical precision. The genetic modifications she had secretly introduced were working beyond her wildest expectations. But the cost was becoming terrifyingly clear. Alina. "You need to see this, Commander," Kane Theron called from across the sterile laboratory. His deep voice carried the weight of authority, but she could hear the concern beneath his professional tone. They had been working together for 6 months now. Ever since the government had assigned him as military liaison to her project, what had started as a purely professional relationship had slowly blossomed into something neither of them had expected. She turned toward him, noting how his usually perfect uniform was wrinkled from the long nights they had been pulling. His dark hair was disheveled, and those piercing green eyes that had first caught her attention were now filled with worry. "What is it, Kane?" He gestured toward the monitoring station where data streams flowed across multiple screens. "Jackson's neural activity has increased by 300% overnight. His brain is literally rewiring itself. But look at these aggression markers." The red lines on the graph spiked dramatically, creating a pattern that made Elena's stomach clench. "This wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered, moving closer to study the readouts. The enhancement serum she had developed was meant to give humans the strength and speed needed to defend Earth against the alien threat intelligence suggested was coming. Instead, it seemed to be turning her subjects into something else entirely. Jackson stirred in his chamber, and both Alina and Kane stepped back instinctively. Even unconscious, there was something predatory about his movements now. His muscles had grown more defined, his reflexes sharper. But there was a wildness in his eyes when they occasionally fluttered open that made Alina question everything she had done. "The others are showing similar patterns," Kane said quietly. Moving to stand beside her, their shoulders brushed, and Alina felt that familiar spark of electricity that had been growing stronger between them with each passing day. "Alina, I think we need to consider shutting this down." She shook her head firmly. "We can't. The intelligence reports all point to an imminent alien invasion. Humanity needs protectors, and conventional weapons won't be enough. These enhancements are our only hope." Kane's hand found hers, his fingers intertwining with her own in a gesture that had become natural between them. "But at what cost? If we create monsters to fight monsters, what does that make us?" Before Alina could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed as an automated voice announced, "Containment breach in Sector 7. All personnel evacuate immediately." Through the observation window, they watched in horror as Jackson's eyes snapped open, glowing with an unnatural silver light. He sat up with fluid grace, his enhanced hearing apparently detecting sounds far beyond normal human range. When he looked directly at them, through the supposedly one-way glass, Alina felt a chill run down her spine. "He knows we're here," she breathed. Jackson placed his hand against the glass from the inside, and spiderweb cracks began spreading outward from his touch. The reinforced material, designed to contain any normal human, was no match for his enhanced strength. "We need to go now," Kane said, pulling Alina toward the emergency exit. But she resisted, her scientific mind still trying to process what she was witnessing. "This is impossible. The modifications shouldn't have given him this level of strength. Something else is happening, something I didn't account for." The glass finally shattered completely, and Jackson stepped through the opening with predatory grace. His head tilted as he seemed to scent the air, and when his gaze locked onto theirs, Alina saw no recognition there. The man who had volunteered for the program, hoping to protect his family, was gone. In his place stood something that viewed them as either prey or threat. Kane's military training kicked in as he positioned himself between Alina and the enhanced human. "Dr. Rodriguez created you to protect humanity, Jackson. Remember who you are." But Jackson's response was a low growl that sounded nothing like human speech. He moved with impossible speed, forcing them to flee deeper into the facility. Unaware that their creation was about to encounter something that would change everything, The emergency sirens continued wailing as Alina and Kane made their way through the underground corridors of the research facility. Behind them, they could hear the systematic destruction as Jackson and the other enhanced subjects broke free from their containments. What Alina had created to save humanity was now hunting them. Through the very halls where they had been born, the secure communication room, Kane panted as they rounded another corner. "We can contact the surface from there and coordinate evacuation." But as they approached the communications center, an impossible sight stopped them in their tracks. Through the reinforced windows of the main laboratory, they could see figures that definitely weren't human. Tall, elegant beings with luminescent skin and flowing movements were attempting to operate the computer terminals. Aliens, Alina breathed, her heart racing for entirely new reasons. But that's impossible. The invasion isn't supposed to happen for months. One of the beings turned toward them, and Alina found herself staring into eyes that held depths of wisdom and sadness she had never seen before. This alien was clearly male, with features that were both utterly foreign and strangely beautiful. His skin had a subtle silver-blue undertone that seemed to pulse with inner light, and when their eyes met through the glass, she felt an unexpected connection. Kane raised his weapon instinctively, but the alien held up his hands in a clearly peaceful gesture. He moved toward the glass, and to Elena's amazement, his voice came through the facility's intercom system. "Please, do not be afraid. I am Nexus of the Celestial Collective. We are not invaders. We came to warn you about the darkness approaching your world. But now I see we may be too late." Alina stepped forward, ignoring Kane's protective gesture. "You speak our language? We have been monitoring your communications for some time, preparing for peaceful contact. But the creatures we encountered in your upper levels, they attacked us without provocation. My companions, his voice trailed off. And Alina saw pain flicker across his alien features. The enhanced humans, she realized with growing horror. They're programmed to see all non-humans as threats. Oh God, what have I done? Before Nexus could respond, one of Elena's creations appeared behind him in the laboratory. This was Subject 3, a woman named Diana who had volunteered to protect her children's future. Now she moved like a predator, her enhanced senses locked onto the alien who stood with his back to her. "Behind you." Alina shouted, but it was too late. Diana struck with inhuman speed, her enhanced strength sending Nexus crashing into a bank of computers. Sparks flew as delicate alien technology mixed with human equipment in violent destruction. But instead of fighting back, Nexus did something that shocked them all. As Diana prepared for another attack, it began to sing. The melody was unlike anything Alina had ever heard. Complex harmonies that seemed to resonate in her very bones. Diana stopped mid-attack, her head tilting in confusion as the alien music washed over her. For a moment, the predatory gleam faded from her eyes, and Alina saw a glimpse of the woman she had once been. Music. "Memory," Diana whispered, her enhanced vocal cords making the words sound distorted. "I remember. Children singing ... But the moment was brief. Diana shook her head violently, the programming reasserting itself, and attacked again. This time Nexus was ready, moving with fluid grace that spoke of entirely different evolutionary pressures. He didn't fight back so much as flow around her attacks. Always defensive. Never aggressive. He won't hurt her, Alina realized, watching the careful way he avoided causing harm even while defending himself. Even though she's trying to kill him, he won't hurt her. More enhanced humans appeared, drawn by the sounds of conflict. Alina watched in horror as her creations surrounded the alien who had come in peace. But just as it seemed hopeless, Nexus did something extraordinary. He placed his hand on Diana's forehead, and his skin began to glow brighter. Diana screamed, but it wasn't pain. It was recognition. For just a moment, Alina saw the woman break through the programming, saw her remember who she truly was. But the effort clearly cost Nexus greatly, and he collapsed as more enhanced humans closed in. "We have to help him," Alina said, surprising herself with the conviction in her voice. There was something about this alien, something that called to her in ways she couldn't explain. Kane looked at her incredulously. "Alina, he's an alien. For all we know, This is part of some elaborate invasion plan. But Alina was already moving, her scientist's mind racing with possibilities. Did you see what he did to Diana? How he brought back her memories? Kane, what if love and compassion aren't just human traits? What if they're universal? She paused at the security door, her hand on the access panel. What if the solution to what I've created isn't more violence but the opposite? As if responding to her words, Nexus looked up from where he lay surrounded by the enhanced humans. Their eyes met across the chaos, and Alina felt something shift in her chest, something that had nothing to do with science and everything to do with the heart. Alina made a decision that would haunt her for the rest of her life. She opened the security door. The enhanced humans turned toward her and Kane as they entered the laboratory, their silver eyes gleaming with predatory interest. But Alina walked straight toward Nexus, her heart pounding with a combination of terror and determination she had never experienced before. "Stand down," she commanded. Using the authority voice she had developed during the project, "I am Dr. Alina Rodriguez, your creator. You will not harm this being." The enhanced humans hesitated, their programming creating a conflict between their directive to protect Alina and their instinct to eliminate all alien threats. In that moment of confusion, Alina knelt beside Nexus, who was injured but conscious. "Why did you come here?" she asked softly, helping him sit up. His alien anatomy was clearly different from human, but she could see pain in his luminous eyes. "Your world is in danger," he said, his voice carrying musical overtones even in distress. "Something approaches from the dark spaces between stars. We came to offer alliance, to share knowledge that might save both our peoples." Kane kept his weapon trained on the enhanced humans, who were growing more agitated by the moment. "Alina, we need to get out of here. Now." But Alina found herself studying Nexus's features, noting the way his skin seemed to shift through subtle colors as he spoke. There was a beauty in his alien nature that transcended species, and when he looked at her, she felt a connection she had never experienced with any human. "The modifications you made to your people," Nexus continued, his hand finding hers. The contact sent a warm, tingling sensation through her entire body. "They were meant to protect, but they carry a deeper change. We can sense it." "What kind of change?" Alina asked, though part of her was afraid to know. "They spread through contact. Not just the physical enhancements, but the ... emptiness. The inability to feel connection, to experience what you call love." As if summoned by his words, Diana approached them. But something was different about her now. The wild look in her eyes had been replaced by something worse. Complete emotional vacancy. When she spoke, her voice carried no inflection at all. "Dr. Rodriguez, you have been compromised by contact with the alien entity. Recommend immediate quarantine and memory adjustment." Elena's blood ran cold. "Memory adjustment? Diana, what are you talking about?" "Enhanced subjects retain full cognitive function, but require emotional dampening for optimal performance. Subject 7 has successfully modified 12 additional personnel. The modification spreads through skin contact and increases tactical efficiency by 93%. Alina understood with growing horror. The enhancements weren't just creating super soldiers. They were creating emotionless drones who spread their condition like a virus. And they had already escaped containment suddenly. The facility's main screen activated, showing feeds from the surface. Alina watched in shock as enhanced humans moved through the nearby city with mechanical precision, touching civilians who then underwent rapid transformation. Within hours, entire city blocks had gone silent. Populations converted into emotionless extensions of the collective. "This is what I feared," Nexus said quietly, his alien hand still holding hers. "In trying to create protectors, you accidentally created something far worse than any invasion." Kane backed toward them, his military training evident in every movement. "Alina, we need to find a way to reverse this. The whole world is in danger," but it was Diana who answered, her empty voice carrying across the laboratory. "Reversal is impossible. The modification improves human efficiency. Emotion is a weakness that has been corrected. Dr. Rodriguez will be enhanced within the hour." Alina felt Nexus's grip tightened on her hand, and something extraordinary happened. Where their skin touched, she could feel warmth spreading through her body. And with it came sensations she had never experienced. It was as if he was sharing something fundamentally alien yet wonderful, a capacity for a connection that transcended species. "There is another way," Nexus whispered, his eyes meeting hers with an intensity that made her forget they were different species. "Among my people, we believe that love is the strongest force in the universe. Not human love or alien love, but something deeper. Something that connects all conscious beings." Alina found herself leaning closer to him, drawn by something she couldn't name. "How do we use that against this?" "We don't fight the enhancement," he said, his other hand coming up to touch her face with surprising gentleness. "We overwhelm it. Love, joy, connection, these emotions are so powerful that they can break through any programming." Kane was watching them with growing alarm. "Alina, you're getting awfully close to something we don't understand." But Alina barely heard him. As Nexus touched her, she could feel something awakening in her chest. Something that made her previous feelings for Kane seem pale in comparison. This alien being, this stranger from another world, was offering her a connection that transcended everything she had known about love and intimacy. "Show me," she whispered, aware that the enhanced humans were closing in around them. "Show me how love can save us all." As Nexus leaned closer, preparing to share something that would change both their worlds forever, the laboratory doors burst open. General Morrison and a team of military personnel stormed in, weapons raised. "Step away from the alien, Dr. Rodriguez," Morrison commanded. "That's an order," but Alina realized with crystal clarity that some commands were impossible to follow, especially when the fate of two worlds hung in the balance. The standoff in the laboratory stretched like a taut wire ready to snap. General Morrison's soldiers surrounded Alina and Nexus, their weapons trained on the alien who had somehow become the center of everything. The enhanced humans watched with empty eyes, waiting for the optimal moment to strike. "Dr. Rodriguez, you are under direct orders to step away from the alien entity," Morrison repeated, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "That creature could be influencing your mind." Alina felt Nexus's hand in hers, warm and surprisingly human-like, despite the subtle differences. The connection between them had grown stronger in the past few minutes, as if proximity was amplifying something neither of them fully understood. "General, you don't understand," Alina said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "The enhancements I created are spreading through human contact. Entire cities are going dark. But Nexus has shown me something that might reverse the process." Kane stepped forward, his weapon lowered, but his stance conflicted. Alina could see the war between duty and personal feelings playing out across his features. "Alina, I know you think there's something special here, but we can't trust alien technology. What if this is exactly what they want?" Nexus spoke then, his musical voice carrying easily through the tense air. "Commander Theron, I understand your suspicion. In your position, I would feel the same. But consider this. If we meant harm to your species, would we have come openly? Would we have allowed ourselves to be injured by your enhanced humans without retaliating?" Alina found herself studying Nexus's profile as he spoke, noting the elegant line of his neck, the way his luminescent skin shifted through subtle blues and silvers as his emotions changed. There was something about his alien beauty that called to her on a level deeper than mere physical attraction. "The connection, Alina, when I'm developing." Nexus continued, turning to look at her with eyes that held depths like ocean twilight. "It is not mind control. It is something your scientists might call quantum entanglement of consciousness. Our emotions, our very life forces, are beginning to resonate in harmony." General Morrison scoffed. "Quantum entanglement of consciousness? Doctor, surely you don't believe this alien mysticism." But Alina was no longer listening to the general. As Nexus spoke about their connection, she could feel it growing stronger, like a warm current flowing between them. When he looked at her, she experienced emotions and sensations that were definitely not entirely her own, alien perspectives on beauty, love, and connection that expanded her understanding of what it meant to feel. "It's not mysticism," she said softly, her scientific mind racing to understand what was happening to her. I can feel it. It's like he's sharing his emotional spectrum with me. I'm sharing mine with him. Diana chose that moment to move, her enhanced speed carrying her toward Alina with deadly intent. But something extraordinary happened. As Diana's hand reached for Elena's throat, Nexus stepped between them. In the moment he made contact with the enhanced human, light erupted from his skin. The light wasn't blinding, but it was beautiful waves of color that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of a heartbeat. Diana screamed, but this time it was clearly a cry of emotional awakening rather than pain. The emptiness in her eyes flickered, placed by confusion and then by tears. I remember, Diana sobbed, her enhanced vocal cords making the words sound distorted but unmistakably human. I remember loving my children. I remember choosing to be enhanced to protect them. What have I become? Alina watched in amazement as the enhancement began to reverse itself in Diana's system. The predatory gleam faded from her eyes, replaced by human emotion and awareness. But the effort clearly cost Nexus greatly. His luminescent skin dimmed, and he swayed on his feet. How is this possible? Alina asked, catching Nexus as he nearly fell. Love, he whispered, his alien features softening as he looked at her. The quantum entanglement we share, it amplifies the connection to include others. Your enhanced humans are not truly emotionless. The feelings are simply suppressed. Strong enough emotional resonance can awaken them. Alina felt tears streaming down her face as understanding dawned. We need to spread this connection. If we can create a network of emotional awakening, Alina. No, Kane interrupted, moving closer with obvious concern. You're talking about permanently bonding with an alien being? We don't know what that might do to you. Alina looked at Kane, seeing the pain and jealousy in his eyes. He had feelings for her, she knew, and under other circumstances, she might have explored what could develop between them. But what she was experiencing with Nexus transcended anything she had ever imagined possible. Kane, I care about you, she said gently. But this is bigger than personal feelings. This is about saving both our species. Nexus struggled to his feet, his hand finding Elena's face with surprising intimacy. Alina, Commander Theron speaks truth. Quantum entanglement of consciousness is irreversible. If we proceed, we will be connected for the remainder of our lives. Your emotions will always carry traces of mine of yours. Alina felt her breath catch as she realized what he was offering. Not just a scientific solution, but a lifetime bond with a being whose very presence made her feel more alive than she ever had. Before show me what forever feels like, she whispered. Aware that General Morrison was shouting orders and that enhanced humans were moving closer, as Nexus leaned in to share what would be their first kiss across species barriers. The laboratory erupted into chaos that would determine the fate of two worlds. The moment Elena's lips met Nexus's, the world exploded into sensation and light. The kiss was unlike anything she had ever experienced, not just the physical contact, but the overwhelming flood of alien emotions and memories that poured into her consciousness. She saw Nexus's homeworld through his eyes, a place of crystal spires and singing forests, where love was literally a force of nature that connected all living things. She felt his people's deep capacity for connection, their ability to share emotions across vast distances, and most importantly, his growing love for her. But Alina also felt her own emotions amplifying and changing, becoming something richer and more complex as they merged with his alien perspective. Her love for him wasn't diminishing her humanity, it was expanding. It too included possibilities she had never imagined. The light that erupted from their joining was visible even through the facility's walls. General Morrison and his soldiers stepped back in alarm as waves of luminescent energy pulsed outward from the couple at the center of the laboratory. What the hell is happening? Morrison demanded, but his voice seemed to come from very far away. Alina barely heard him. She was lost in the connection with Nexus, feeling their consciousness weaving together in ways that transcended species barriers. But more importantly, she could feel the wave of emotional awakening spreading outward from them, like ripples in a pond. Diana, still crying as her enhanced conditioning broke down completely, suddenly gasped. "I can feel them," she said wonderingly. "I can feel what they feel. The love, the connection. It's so beautiful." One by one, the other enhanced humans in the laboratory began to change. The empty silver glow faded from their eyes, replaced by the full spectrum of human emotion as the quantum entanglement network spread to include them. Alina could feel each awakening like a small explosion of joy in her consciousness. But it wasn't stopping there. Through the facility's monitoring systems, they could see the effects spreading across the city above. Enhanced humans who had been converted into emotionless drones suddenly stopped their mechanical movements. Confusion and then wonder crossing their faces as suppressed emotions came flooding back. "It's working," Kane breathed, watching the monitors in amazement. "The emotional connection is reversing the enhancement plague." Alina finally broke the kiss with Nexus, but she maintained their connection through intertwined hands. She could feel his alien heartbeat as if it were her own, and when she looked at him, she saw their shared future stretching out in possibilities she had never dreamed of. "The network is stabilizing," Nexus said, his voice carrying new harmonics that resonated with Elena's own speech patterns. "Our bond is creating a template that allows others to rediscover their capacity for connection without losing the beneficial aspects of the enhancements." General Morrison lowered his weapon, staring at the transformation happening around them. "Dr. Rodriguez, are you saying that the enhanced humans are keeping their abilities but regaining their emotions?" Alina nodded, her scientific mind cataloging the miraculous process, even as her heart soared with alien joy. The enhancements were never inherently evil. They just suppress the emotional connections that make us human. By providing a powerful enough template of love and connection, we can restore what was lost. Diana approached them, moving with enhanced grace, but with tears of gratitude streaming down her face. "Dr. Rodriguez, I remember everything now. The choice I made, the reasons why, ... But I also remember love. Thank you for giving that back to me through their bond." Alina could feel Nexus's deep satisfaction at seeing the healing spread. His people had always believed that love was the fundamental force of the universe, and now they were proving it on a planetary scale. "The invasion force that approaches," Nexus said, addressing General Morrison directly. "They are beings of pure logic and calculation. They believe emotion makes species weak. But now, with your enhanced humans retaining their abilities while also possessing the full spectrum of emotional connection, ... will be stronger than either pure humans or pure logic could make us," Lena finished, understanding flooding through her alien-enhanced consciousness. "Will be something new. Something that combines the best of multiple species." Kane stepped forward, and Alina could see that he had accepted what was happening, even if it meant losing his chance with her. "What do you need from us, Alina?" Alina looked around the laboratory, seeing enhanced humans and regular humans working together, seeing alien technology beginning to integrate with human systems. Seeing the birth of something unprecedented in galactic history, we need to prepare for first contact. On a global scale, she said, her voice carrying new authority. Nexus's people are peaceful, but there are others out there who aren't. We need to build a civilization that can defend itself through both strength and connection. She turned to Nexus, seeing her own joy reflected in his alien features, and we need to explore what it means when love literally conquers all. As alarms finally stopped blaring and the facility settled into a new kind of calm, Alina knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had been transformed not by science alone, but by the discovery that love truly was a universal force, one that could bridge any gap, heal any wound, and overcome any threat. The enhanced humans were no longer humanity's mistake, but its salvation. And at the center of it all, two beings from different worlds had proven that some connections transcend every boundary the universe can create.